Hello and welcome back to Sunless Sunday with me, Bardon, where we play the game Sunless Sea. When we finished our last episode, we had a choice to make between which sister we were going to have lunch with. So we had Cynthia, the eldest sister, Lucy, the middle sister, and Phoebe, the youngest sister. And since Cynthia did most of the talking, or did all of the talking actually, when we first met the sisters, we're going to start by having lunch with her and see where that takes us. Cynthia grasps your arm and whispers to you. Her eyes are wide and blue. Her hair is wild and tangled. Bats might nest in it. It seems to you that you are sitting on a hillside, above a wide blue lake, listening to a story of a murder, an axe and net, blood on scented water. Another chop? Cynthia asks. You've barely touched your food. Here, I'll have the maid wrap something up for you. You can't be hungry. It's not safe to be hungry. And found that out last time as well, as I said, alluded to in the first one, that we turned to cannibalism when we ended up being hungry at sea. So it's good that I think she's given us, let's see, we gained one terror from her story, and we now have one tale of terror as well. And I think that, we gained one supply, new total is 6, which is good. And we've lost 28 hunger as well. So that's basically taking lunch here has reset the hunger of our crew, which is great. And looking at the story, talking about an axe and net, blood on scented water, there's a lot of allusion to murder and foul play and a lot of the stories that you gather as you travel around. So it's going to be a common theme here in Sunless Sea. So let's continue. Okay, so we can't visit the sisters again because we've already done that. News. Even when the sisters aren't feeling sociable, they can be tempted out of their lair by the smell of new stories. So if we wanted to, we could use some of the news that we brought from London to get them to come out and talk to us again, but we don't want to do that. Let's reconnoiter the island. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in a fold of the grounds. Anything else? The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle, the house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed at least. So we got now our first port report, which we can get a reward when we hand it into the Admiralty. But overall, I think we are done here. So let's leave dock. Let's turn our light out for now. And next we're going to make our way towards the tomb colonies, which, as I said, are normally to the north of fallen London. So we're going to head in that general direction. I'm going to switch the lights on because our terror is climbing a bit too much for my liking. Okay, now let's turn them off because that may be a pirate, which it is. We're going to have to burn some fuel, I think, to get away from them. Oh, I was trying to say I think they've lost interest, but obviously they haven't. Okay, let's duck in between these islands here. And then if I press C, I can send out a Z-Bat to see what we've discovered, if anything. So Vendor Bright. So let's slow down now because I think we lost it. Actually, let's stop for the moment. Vendor Bright is some distance to the west. So this must be Vendor Bright over here. So Vendor Bright is where the tomb colonies are. We suffered 5 damage from the pirate. You can actually fight back against the pirates if you got some torpedoes, but we never bought any. So my strategy is to try to avoid fights as much as I can. Okay, so we're going to pull in here and then cut our engines and dock. The trouble with the tomb colonists, you brought this decayed emigrant north. Now what? Days of shrooms and roses. The new tomb colonist surveys Vendor Bright, shaking her head. It won't do, she says. It won't do at all. A plan. I had no idea the place would be quite so unprepossessing. Perhaps we can liven it up a little. Yet, if only I knew a helpful Z captain. Bring 10 units of mushroom rind to Vendor Bright, and perhaps they'll have something for you. Okay, so we need to get more Vendor Bright. Okay, and we got a new quest there. Okay, so let's go to the colony. We can't assist the specialized collector that's locked at the moment. A weak call for help, we can't do that. A dusty glass, we can't do that. Exploring Vendor Bright. Here they favor candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swag like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough. 1 building in 3 seems abandoned. Okay, we can gather gossip as well. Okay, so let's shop first. So we can sell our cask of mushroom wine, which we're going to do because we don't have enough for the 10, and I'm not going to have these sitting in my hold gathering dust while I save up enough money for 7 more. So let's sell those. Okay, we can buy fuel and we can buy supplies, but the fuel and supplies are more expensive than in back in Fallen London, so we're not going to do that at the moment. Let's go to the Hollow Temple. We can sell our recent news for 10 echoes, which I'm going to do. And then the Charnel Lounge. So we can't sell, I believe we can't sell our tomb colonists yet because they've given, the person has given us something to do before we collect our reward. So we're going to get those 15 echoes at some point in the future, I believe. Okay, so let's go back here then. Now let's explore Vendor Bright. A Corkscrew Street. At the twisty tip of an odd little side street, welcoming yellow light glows from the gilt-lettered windows of a restaurant. A sign reads, Vengeance of Jonah. Vengeance of Jonah. A beefy tomb colonist bustles up. A grey moustache pokes impertinently out from under his bandages. Come in, come in! Okay, so we can't recruit the bandage poisoneer. Let's see what else we can do. Okay, sample today's special. The food here is exceptional. You need not fear poisoning or boredom. Definitely not boredom. This is usually a more effective way of reducing terror than purchasing a dusty glass of wine, and will also reduce hunger. A matter of luck. It could go either way. So basically we're rolling a dice here, and if we get lucky, our terror and our hunger are going to decrease. If we're unlucky, maybe something bad is going to happen, but maybe it's going to be that we get poisoned or God knows what. So let's see. A meal which defies description. The bandaged poisoner, owner of the vengeance of Jonah, has identified 7 flavors which are pleasant, 7 which are unpleasant, and 7 which are neither. The flavor of this meal are chiefly of the first kind. Okay, so I think we got lucky there, because the first kind are the pleasant ones. You were fortunate. Yes, so we did get lucky. You lost 8 hunger. You've lost 5 terror. You've lost 60 echoes. Okay, so I probably should have read that before. Obviously, it costs us 60 echoes to eat there, so that wasn't a good choice. Okay, so what else do we have? We can gather gossip, so we're going to do that now. Who's plotting what? Out in the tomb colonies. Along the coast of the Untersee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. So we've got a port report for Venderbite as well, which is good. And then we're going to visit the first curator. Sea captains, the first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London. Like all of the oldest tomb colonists, but even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. No more light. The obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door and you step into near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape no larger than a child lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. So you can listen to a whispered request. So what's that going to do? Unlock with no more than 0 the Nitro. Okay. Sea captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the grand sanatorium. Bring me colours, 7 colours. Pay well. Okay, so I think that's one of the main quests of the game. Ask about the grand sanatorium. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Venderbite. Accept the commission. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for colours. Depart for now. You have no further business with the curator just now. Okay, so we're gonna go with this one. Cosmogone, Irigo, Pelican. Stewart has list. Find them here and there across the wide Black Sea. So that's going to be a very long quest, I think. Now let's ask about the Grand Sanatorium, see where that gets us. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Venderbite. A long, low chuckling. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below, not unless we go to sea. So we need something else, somewhere to end. Okay, that sounds pretty ominous. And let's depart for now. Okay, and then in the shop, is there something we can buy here? So that's for selling, and that's for the tomb colonists. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make our way back to London, turn in our port reports, and then see where we go from there. But I'm going to have a quick look at our map. So we've only found Hunter's Keep here and Venderbight up to the north. And then we've got, let's move this over here for now. Yeah. So Fallen London also. So maybe we could head south, or even actually on our way back down, it might actually behoove us to cut in here and uncover this shore here and see if there's anything along there as well. Okay, so let's get to that. So we're going to undock and make our way around the coast here. The whole feeling of this game, the atmosphere, and you're going to hear the music kick in at some point as well. It's all really ties in very well to the overall atmosphere of the game, and I really enjoy it. And I know it's slow pace. You know, you're just chugging along in a little boat, but the whole game is really about the stories. And I actually like the fact that you travel pretty slowly, because it allows you time for thinking on something not too good there. I thought that was maybe a pirate that was going to attack us, but it is. Oh, that's a pirate. Okay, so let's hopefully get away from him. Oh, more hull damage, not good. But when we're not being attacked by pirates, we do have some time to think about. So I'm gonna slow down now, I think. Oh, actually no, he's catching up. You have time to think about the stories and the, let's send out a Z-map, and just how everything hangs together here. So here's the very atmospheric music I was talking about kicking in now. Let's send out another bat and let's slow ourselves down. Okay, and that should we haven't actually uncovered this section here, which I thought we would have done. But I'm not going to worry about that for right now. We're just going to thank our lucky stars that we've made it back to Fallen London here. And I believe every time that we dock, we're going to have an inspection as well of our cargo. And luckily enough, we're not carrying anything untoward with us. And as we come back now, we can cut our engines and dock. Okay, yeah, so the Revenue Men. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today, they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. Okay, so let them do their worst. Okay, making sure it's not going to cost us anything. This will also reduce your suspicion if your suspicion is 5 or more. Okay, so let's go. Vexed and frustrated, they roam your deck like wolves. They tear through your belongings like termites. At last they leave. So our menace's suspicion hasn't changed because it's lower than 5. I think it's 0 at the moment because we haven't done anything dodgy. Returning to London. The lights of London welcome you home. This storylet only appears when you've been at sea for a little while. Collect messages from the harbour master. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? Hopefully there are. What's this? Let's see. Something has changed underneath. Someone wants to sign on. That's all for now. Okay, so we're going to look at that guy in a minute. But first what I want to do is go to the Admiralty and hand in these port reports. So first, Hunter's Keep. I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of Her Enduring Majesty, notionally. Okay, so we gained 5 echoes, and we also got 1 favor from the Admiralty. And we got 1 fuel as well, which is great. Okay, and then Vendor Bite. You gain 10 echoes. You gain 1 favor, so we got another favor, so now we've got 2. And we also got 1 fuel for that. And we're not going to do anything else there, I don't think. Okay. So let's go back to where we got your lodgings. Rose's Wharf, London. So we could cruise in the Woolstock docks. We're not going to do that. That would reduce our terror. Visit the Rose Market. Hire on more crew. At the moment, I'm happy with 8 out of 10 crew at the moment. We do have the chance for a new recruit. Who awaits your attention? A new recruit. Okay, so let's see. Someone wants to sign on. On later visits, different officers will sometimes be available. If there's more than one choice, you can choose 1 per visit. Engage an officer, the irresponsible cannoneer. Captain, are you looking for a gunner? I'm looking for a ship. Here are my references. Here are more references. Here's my design for a whistling shell. Here's my colleague. He'll stay on shore. Here's my hand. Will you take it? Okay, so we got chance for the cannoneer. Then engage an officer. The sigil-ridden navigator. Let me guide your ship. I know all the sea. How it was, how it will be. Please, the headaches only stop when I'm working. The navigator is a first officer who increases mirrors and veils. So the gunner is a gunnery officer who substantially increases iron. So because I'm trying to avoid fights, I'm not going to go for the gunnery officer at the moment. The navigator, how much is it going to cost? So he's 50 echoes and we only got 51. So I don't think we're going to... No, we're not going to hire anyone at the moment. But they are there in the future if we need them. So let's go to London. We've already gone to the Admiralty. Yeah, we're not going to do anything there. So let's go to the shops. So we can buy some fuel. We got 10 fuel at the moment. We do need some supplies. So let's get a couple of supplies. And then spend our final 10 echoes on some fuel. Okay, so we're now down to our final echo, and the little stop we had for bite to eat up in Venderbite has proven to be pretty expensive for us. The next thing I want to do is I want to speak to this guy and see what he wants. What does he want? What does he seek at Z? The Z is enough. But now you mention it, I've always had a desire to see Frostfound, the place where the Z rises to become a castle, the place where questions and riddles do battle for truth. He sighs dreamily, but he is watching you carefully. Yes, Frostfound. Frostfound can be found in the very north of the sea. I found it one time when I was just exploring up there in the north. I didn't know anything about it, but if it's in the same place, maybe that's something we could find on our next voyage. But for now, that does bring us to the end of this particular episode. So if you've enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and posting a comment below. And I really do hope to see all of you next time. Goodbye.